Good morning, my dear Valenzuelan learners. I would like to welcome you all to another informative episode of Earth and Life Science. We are now in week 8 of our learning module. Before we begin, I would like to remind you of the following. First, prepare your pen, your notebook, and learning module. Second, observe proper etiquette and use the chat box in answering questions. Lastly, participate and stay focused in our discussion. Today's most essential learning competency is to use hazard map to identify areas prone to hazards brought about by tropical cyclone, monsoons, flood, or ipo-ipo, and describe how coastal processes result in coastal erosion, submersion, and saltwater intrusion. To start, we will be going to play 4 picks 1 word. You will be going to guess the word by using the clue given on the 4 pictures. You can use our comment section to give your answers. Kindly click the heart button if you are ready. Let us have the first picture. It is a word with 5 letters. Kindly comment your guess for the first picture. Okay, very good. The word is storm. Let us have another one. It is a word with 7 letters. You got it right. The word is cyclone. Let us have the last one. Now it is a word with 8 letters. Very good. The word is disaster. Now, where do you think these words are related? Okay, I have seen answers related to hazards and calamity. That's great. You got the idea. For today, we will deal with the different hazards caused by hydrometeorological phenomenon. This phenomenon refers to a wide variety of meteorological, hydrological, and climate phenomenon in nature. While the hydrometeorological hazards refers to the effect of this phenomenon, it may cause loss of life, injury, and other health impacts, property damage, loss of livelihood and services, social and economic disruption, or environmental damage. Are you familiar with the different hydrometeorological hazards? Let's find out by doing the second activity, which is the word hunt. What you need to do is to search for the words that is related to hydrometeorological phenomenon and its hazards. You only have 10 seconds to look for these words. You may place your answer on our comment section. Are you ready? Timer starts now. Okay, let's see if you found the words we are searching for. The words are storm surge, typhoon, floods, monsoons, thunderstorm, and ipo-ipo. Did you also found the same words? Hit the care button if you found any of the words from our word hunt. Now let us proceed to the different hydrometeorological phenomenon and its hazards. Are you afraid of thunderstorm? Thunderstorm is one of the hydrometeorological phenomenon which is characterized by the presence of lightning, and the acoustic effect of it is thunder, or what we know as kulog. Lightning produced by thunderstorm can kill people when it hit them. It can also be associated with heavy rains that may lead to flash flooding. When there is a severe thunderstorm, we should also be prepared for an instance of tornado or bohawi when it forms inland, and waterspout or ipo-ipo when it forms in water. This photo shows the aftermath of the tornado or locally known as Buhawi in Manila on August 14, 2016. It shows that it is very destructive and capable of lifting heavy objects and hurl them several meters away. Another hydrometeorological phenomenon is what we know as the tropical cyclone. A tropical cyclone is a rotating organized system of clouds and thunderstorm that originates over the warm tropical and subtropical waters and have low level of circulation. The term typhoon, hurricane, and cyclone are the same weather phenomenon. Let us use this map to show the birthplace of a tropical cyclone. If it originates on the North Atlantic and Northeast Pacific, it is called a hurricane. When it originates on the Northwest Pacific, it is called typhoon. And when it originates on the South Pacific and Indian Ocean, it is called a cyclone. Is our country directly along the path of typhoons? Yes, almost all tropical cyclones develop on the Northwest Pacific directly hit our country. Recently, we experienced Typhoon Marine that caused extreme flooding in northern Luzon. Let us watch a short video clip of the strongest typhoon that hit our country on November 2013, the Super Typhoon Yolanda. What are the hazards brought by this typhoon? One of the vivid hazards of the super typhoon Yolanda is what we know as the storm surge. A storm surge or deluyong is the rising of the sea because of the changes in atmospheric pressure and wind associated with the storm. This map shows the damage in structure in Tacloban City. The red one shows the area that are totally damaged, and the pink one shows the area that are highly damaged. This only shows that the storm surge caused extreme flooding in the coastal areas that resulted to the loss of lives and livelihood in the people there in Tacloban. Are you familiar with Typhoon Ondoy? Let us watch again a short video clip of this typhoon that caused extreme flooding in Metro Manila. Here are some of the pictures of the hazards brought by Typhoon Ondoy. Flash flooding in highly urbanized area like Metro Manila severely disrupt the normal flow of life, Trading, commerce, schooling, and other related activities are disrupted. This typhoon is not categorized as a strong typhoon, but made Metro Manila under state of calamity. You know why? Because this is intensified by the southwest monsoon or hanging habagat. What are monsoons? Monsoons is a seasonal rain and wind pattern. Amihan is a Filipino term of northeast monsoon, which is a cool and dry northeast wind. The air is cool, there is a less rain, and the humidity is low. It usually starts on the middle of October or November and ends in February or early March. On the other hand, hanging habagat is known as the southwest wind, characterized by frequent heavy rainfall and a humid weather. It typically starts in June and ends early October. Let us examine the hazard map of Metro Manila during Typhoon Ondoy. Our map indicates the area that are affected by this typhoon. Typhoon that Habagat brings, like this one, unfortunately cause millions, sometimes billions, worth of reconstruction damage and kill hundreds of Filipinos. Let us have another activity. Using the map, try to locate the places that are high risk in typhoon. You have 10 seconds to do it. You may place your answer on our comment section. Are you ready? Timer starts now. If you mention places found on northern Luzon, southeastern Luzon, and eastern Visayas, you are correct because these are the areas that highly at risk to the occurrence of tropical depression, tropical storm, typhoon, and super typhoon. Kindly click the wow button if you mention places found in these areas. We should be aware and prepared to different hydrometeorological phenomena to minimize the effects of its hazards, since it may cause loss of life, injury, property damage, loss of livelihood and services, social and economic disruption, or environmental damage. The Philippines is one of the countries several affected by sea level rise, typhoon, and flood. It is important that we should not only be aware with the hydrometeorological hazards, but we should also understand coastal processes. This is important to moderate the effects of destructive human activities and making intelligent decisions. Coastal processes occurrence driven by nature and amplified by human action. They may cause damage in the shoreline through coastal erosion, submersion, and saltwater intrusion. Are you fond of keeping old pictures? This is our very own Boracay Island, which is hailed as one of the best beaches in the world. On the other hand, this is the picture of the Boracay Island when it is placed under state of calamity. Has the island changed? Yes, specifically there are a lot of changes that happen on its coastline. The picture shows the incredible rate of beach erosion that happens in Boracay. There are also places affected by saltwater intrusion that happens when the salt water starts intruding the coast. We have natural defense against coastal erosion. It includes mangroves and coral reefs. Mangroves significantly reduce flooding and erosion and thus protect people and property from the damage caused by storm, sea level rise, and king tides. The aerial roots of these mangroves retain sediments and prevent erosion, while the roots, the trunk, the canopy reduce the force of incoming waves and storm surge. Live corals and sea grasses also moderate the impact of waves, but mangroves and coral reefs are threatened by habitat degradation and destruction, thus reducing the natural defense against coastal erosion. Aside from natural defense, there are also artificial barriers constructed near the coast. These are seawalls, groins, breakwaters, and the sandbags, which also help to reduce coastal erosion. These are the main points of what we discussed for today. Hydrometeorological phenomena such as thunderstorm, tornado and waterspout, tropical cyclone, and monsoons that are affected by the following hazards: damage in property, flash flooding and landslide, waterborne diseases, and storm surge. We also discuss coastal processes that cause damage in the shoreline through coastal erosion, submersion, and saltwater intrusion. Now, before we end our discussion, let us see how much have you learned from today's lesson. Comment your answer in our comment section. Let me read the questions for you. Number 1. Which of the following characterizes hanging habagat? A. Heavy rainfall. B. Freezing temperature. C. Cold weather. D. Dry spell. You have 5 seconds to answer. If your answer is letter A, you are correct. Let's proceed to number 2. Which province in the Philippines has a very low risk to typhoon? A. Palawan. B. Metro Manila. C. Iloilo. D. Bulacan. If your answer is letter A, you are correct. Next for number 3. Which of the following is a hazard caused by typhoon? A. Flying debris due to strong wind. B. Flash flood. C. Mudslide. D. All of the above. If your answer is letter D, you are correct. Next for number 4. Which of the following is not an example of coastal process? A. Coastal erosion. B. Submersion. C. Waterspout. D. Saltwater intrusion. If your answer is letter C, you are correct. For the last question, which of the following is a natural defense against coastal erosion? A. Breakwaters. B. Sandbags. C. Seawalls. D. Seagrasses and mangroves. If your answer is letter D, you are correct. Well done. If you still have questions and point of clarifications regarding our topic for today, you can ask your respective subject teacher in your follow-up session. Don't forget to do your activities on your module. I hope you learned something from today's discussion. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Stay safe and always be ready.